Hello everyone. We are going to study and analyze the poem The Tiger and the Deer by Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo was born in Calcutta on 15th August 1872. When he was only 7 years old, he was taken to England for education. There he studied at St. Paul's School, London, and also at King's College, Cambridge. He returned back to India in 1893. For the next 13 years, he worked in the princely state of Baroda in the service of the Maharaja and also as a professor in Baroda College. During this period, he joined a revolutionary society and also took a leading role in secret preparations for an uprising against the British government in India. In 1906, Sri Aurobindo, soon after the partition of Bengal, he quit his post in Baroda and went to Calcutta, where he soon became one of the leaders of the nationalist movement for freedom. So he was the first political leader in India to openly put forward in his newspaper Vande Mataram the idea of complete independence for our country. He was twice prosecuted for sedition and once for conspiracy, but he was released each time for the lack of evidence. Sri Aurobindo had begun the practice of yoga in 1905 in Baroda. In 1908, he had the first of several fundamental spiritual realizations while he was in jail. In 1910, he withdrew from politics and went to Pondicherry in order to devote himself entirely to his inner spiritual life and work. During his 40 years in Pondicherry, he evolved a new method of spiritual practice which he called the integral yoga. The aim of this yoga is a spiritual realization that not only liberates man's consciousness but also transforms his nature. In 1926, with the help of his spiritual collaborator, the Mother, he founded the Sri Aurobindo Ashram. Among his many writings are The Life Divine, The Synthesis of Yoga, and Savitri. Sri Aurobindo left this world on 5th of December 1950. So we see that Sri Aurobindo was not only a poet but a philosopher, a mystic, a yogi, and a freedom fighter. In the poem The Tiger and the Deer, Sri Aurobindo explains how the tiger, who is a very powerful animal, kills the deer, who is a very innocent, a peaceful animal. Though both are the creations of God, here Sri Aurobindo uses them as symbols. The tiger is a symbol of death and destruction. Also, it is a very powerful animal and represents cruelty in nature. The deer, who is very simple and a mild, harmless, innocent animal, is a symbol of everything that is innocent, peaceful in this world. So, the tiger symbolizes death and destructive elements in nature, and the deer symbolizes peaceful elements in nature. He writes, brilliant, crouching, slouching. What crept through the green heart of the forest? What crept through the green heart of the forest? He is asking a question. What is that creature which is creeping to the green heart or center of the forest. Then he answers, brilliant, crouching, slouching, that this creature who is walking through the heart of the forest or center of the forest is a brilliant animal, brilliant creature. Brilliant means sparkling. Crouching, crouching, who is stooping. And slouching, slouching, who is standing or moving with a drooping head. So he is describing the tiger as a sparkling, stooping, who is moving with his head downwards. Gleaming eyes. He describes the eyes of the tiger as shining. And mighty chest. The tiger is having a very strong body with a very strong chest. And soft, soundless paws of grandeur and murder. Then he asks a question whether the soundless paws, the tiger is walking soundlessly. His paws do not make a sound while he steps. So, but Aurobindo asks a question whether these paws are of splendor or grandeur or of murder, because the tiger is going to murder other animals in the jungle. The wind slipped through the leaves as if afraid. He says that even the wind is afraid of the tiger and it is slipping through the leaves. It is passing very gently through the leaves of the trees in the jungle. Why it is afraid? Lest its voice, the wind is afraid that in case its voice and the noise of its steps and the noise of the steps of the moving wind disturb the pitiless splendor. The pitiless splendor is used for the tiger. The tiger is a pitiless, cruel animal. Splendor, it is a very magnificent animal. It is a glorious animal. Here, the words splendor, pitiless splendor is used for the tiger. Hardly daring to breathe. The wind is so much afraid of the tiger that it does not dare even to breathe. It is afraid of the tiger that the movement caused by its flowing will disturb the tiger. But the great beast crouched and crept and crouched a last time, noiseless, fatal. Sri Aurobindo further writes that the great beast, that is the tiger, which has a big body, crouched, stooped down and crept and moved forward, stooping, and crouched a last time, and he moved for the last time noiselessly, but this was a fatal movement, till suddenly death leaped on the beautiful wild deer, and the tiger attacked the wild deer from behind. What was the wild deer doing at that time? As it drank, unsuspecting, from the great pool in the forest's coolness and shadow. It was drinking water from the great pool in the forest, in the coolness of the forest and the shadow of the trees. And it was unsuspecting. It did not doubt, the deer did not even doubt that death will leap upon it from behind, and it was drinking water. It was unmindful that the tiger would attack him from behind, and it fell, and the deer fell down. torn. The tiger tore the body of the deer into pieces, and the deer died. And before dying, he died remembering its mate, left soul in the deep woodland. The deer thought about its mate or its partner, which was left soul alone in the deep means dense woodland forest. So, just before dying, the deer thought about its companion, who was left alone in the dense forest. We'll continue with the poem in the next part. Thank you. Hello everyone. We'll continue with The Tiger and the Deer by Sri Aurobindo Ghosh. Destroyed the mild, harmless beauty by the strong, cruel beauty in nature. He writes that the strong, cruel beauty in nature, that is the tiger, who is strong and he is cruel, though he is beautiful. He destroys the mild, peaceful, harmless beauty, that is the deer. The deer is harmless. It is incapable of harming any other animal, and it is beautiful. So both animals are beautiful and both are created by nature. But the tiger, which is beautiful, but it is cruel, and the deer, which is beautiful but is harmless. So the cruel beauty in nature kills the harmless beauty in nature. That is, the tiger kills the deer. Now, Sri Aurobindo further writes, he is very optimistic and he thinks that one day this cruelty will stop in nature. But a day may yet come. He hopes that a day may come when the tiger crouches and leaps no more, when the tiger will no longer crouch and leap upon other animals or kill other animals in the dangerous heart of the forest. In the center of the forest, this dangerous animal will no longer be able to harm, to kill other animals. Such a day will come when the tiger will not be able to crouch, hide, and leap or pounce upon animals and kill them, destroy them. As here means like the mammoth shakes no more the plains of Asia. Mammoth was a huge, gigantic elephant, but it is extinct now. It does not shake the plains of Asia. Once upon a time, it was a terror in the plains of Asia. But today, what has happened? The mammoth does not shake the plains of Asia. Nobody is terrorized with this because it does not exist. Still then shall the beautiful wild deer drink from the coolness of great pools in the leaves' shadow. He says that though the mammoth is extinct, but till now the beautiful wild deer drinks from the shady pools in the shadow of the leaves of the trees. That is, though the mammoth is extinct, the deer still lives. We see that many animals are extinct now, like the dinosaurs, which do not exist now, who were very huge creatures and who terrorized the areas where they lived. But today they do not exist, and the other animals, the smaller animals who were their prey, they still live. The last two lines of the poems are: the mighty perish in their might. The mighty or the powerful, those who are powerful, they perish, they extinct in their might, in their power. While they are still powerful, they perish. But the slain, those who are killed, they survive, that is, they live. The slayer, the killer. So, those who are killed, they live longer than the killer. These are very important lines, and the writer, the poet, is very optimistic in these lines. He says that the mighty or the powerful become extinct while they are still in their power, but those whom they kill, they outlive them. So we note that the poet presents a contrast between the tiger and the deer, who are the symbols. The tiger is the beast of prey, and the deer is the prey itself. It is the victim. The tiger is the victimizer. And in the end, he writes that the victims live longer than the victimizers. The tiger is the slayer and the deer is the slain. The tiger is a ferocious, strong animal, while the deer is a mild, harmless, innocent animal. The tiger is a bloodthirsty and a cruel animal, while the deer is a harmless animal. So, Sri Aurobindo gives the message that all the destructive elements in the earth, all those who were dictators, have become extinct, while the people whom they victimized are still living, like the deer who drink water from the cool shadow of the pools in the jungle. Sri Aurobindo wrote this poem when the Britishers ruled India, and they were victimizing the people of India. And now we see that the Britishers had to leave India, they had to leave all their colonies, and now they are living in their small area while all other countries are living with freedom and fearlessly. Similarly, we see that dictators like Hitler, he had to kill himself, while the people are now living peacefully. This is what Sri Aurobindo has tried to convey in the last two lines, that is, the mighty perish in their might, and the slain survive the slayer. Those who are powerful, they perish, they become extinct, while the people whom they kill, they survive. So, Sri Aurobindo had projected the vision of the time to come. He was a great poet, and his poetry is mystical, symbolic, and also futuristic. It represents Indian philosophy, the love of God, and the submission of the lustful life to the spiritual existence. Sri Aurobindo seems to be highly impressed by the poem The Tiger by William Blake. There is a lot of similarity between both these poems, The Tiger and the Deer and The Tiger. In The Tiger, William Blake expresses his wonder that God has created the tiger, which is so beautiful, but it is so terrible and strong and ferocious. But he says that the same immortal power, that is God, has made the lamb, which is so gentle. And William Blake gives a very impressive picture of the tiger in the dense forest. He shows that the tiger has glowing eyes and has stripes and the tiger's eyes shine like flame in the dark. In William Blake's poem the tiger preys upon the gentle lamb, and in Sri Aurobindo's poem, the tiger preys upon the deer. Both are the victims, that is, the lamb and the deer. But Sri Aurobindo goes beyond that. He gives his philosophy in the end of the poem that the slain will survive the slayer, which is not there in the poetry of William Blake. We also see that this poem
हो गया
एक मिनट